Bonjour, my beautiful people. How are you doing? This is Lya Pouleyy. Welcome to Be Your L, episode number 6. Looks like this, like this, like this. You get it. As you know, I'm your wellness creative, wellness coach. I help you feeling better, finding your lights. We're all having like lights inside us and out there through arts and craft, dance and body movement, modeling, self-love, self-confidence, and the love of the food. So I'm smiley and all of that, but today is a very sensitive topic for me, and this is a personal experience. So of course, I'm editing all my videos, but I really want to be true to myself and I want to be true to you guys. So I'm not gonna edit this episode that much because I really want you to understand and feel what I'm talking about in that video. So as you can see, and I'm gonna show you later after because you can really see properly, but I'm having like 3 art pieces. The 4th one I'm working on it, and I'm gonna do a 5th one. I'm not really rushing, to be honest, to finish this one, but I should because I'm in a better state of mind, if I can say so. So this episode is about how my spirituality and art help me recovering from the losses due to COVID and other things about life. By the way, today, this is Friday, August 14th, and this is very emotionally important for me to throw this episode today because 1 year ago, my life completely changed and shifted when I lost one of the most important person of my life. She passed away exactly a year ago. So this episode is dedicated to her and all the people that I've lost in my life, all the people that I loved and who are now my angels, my spiritual guides, or who are just up there resting and taking care of us. So this episode is for you guys, my angels. Thank you so much. I have a candle. I'm not gonna tell you the brand because this is not promotion, but those candles are like amazing. Maybe I should. The name is Good Medicine. They're like this, I think it's guava. No, it's fig leaf and soy candle. That's one of the best smell I've ever had. So it's pricey, but it's very natural and it's really worth it. I wish you guys could smell it. I really wish. So enough about my candle, but I'm burning also my candle for them. It's 3 different episodes in one, if I can say that, episodes of my life. So as I told you, last year I lost one of the best person in my life. She passed away due to cancer. She was a breast cancer survivor, but then she had another cancers, like 2 other cancers, so she just couldn't make it. She was fighting a lot. She was like a huge fighter, and of course she was going to the hospital and all of that, but she was also helped by a healer, energetic healer. So this man was just amazing for her, really helped her recover, and she was like feeling so much better. But what happened, unfortunately, she said she could feel that she spoke to somebody who took all of her energy. This person sucked all of her energy, and she could feel that it's over, like the fight is over, the battle is over, that she's not gonna win. So she would just have to go, and she left us exactly like a year ago. So this is not easy for me, but wherever she is now, I know that she is an angel, because when she when I knew about like the new cancer, because at first she was diagnosticated when she was already at stage 4, so she didn't know like the cancer was back. And so they said, okay, we're gonna transfer you right away to the palliative cares. And at this time I'm like, okay, I need to go back to Switzerland because she lives in Switzerland. So I was going back to France, then Switzerland. But then she started to have sessions with that amazing healer in Switzerland. He was working on her chakras, energies, and within 2 weeks she went out of the hospital. That was just unbelievable. But at the time I didn't really know, and I was messaging her every day. I was telling her that I'm here for her, I'm there, even if she's far away, or maybe I'm the one far away since I live here in the US, in New York. But I'm here for her, anything she can ask me, anything. And you know, like you have the stories on Instagram and on Facebook, but you also have the stories on WhatsApp. And I was posting my stories on WhatsApp just for her because I knew she was watching my stories every day. So I wanted to show her what I'm doing every day. I wanted to show her that I was still in my artistic, holistic healing journey, here to help people, here in my modeling journey, in my acting journey, in my dancing journey, in my artistic journey, my painting journey. So one day I asked her, I said, I want to paint something for you. What would you like? And she is a midwife, so she said, you know, I love babies, so if you want to paint babies, I'd love that. So I said okay, and that gave me so much energy to paint those babies. So I painted a white baby and the black baby. They were like looking so cute. But finally, when I traveled to France first, she was doing really okay, and my family in France, they needed me, so I didn't travel to Switzerland because she was okay. I thought she fully recovered. We all thought she fully recovered from cancer. And so my artwork was staying in France. I didn't get the chance to go to Switzerland to give it to her, so she never saw it because I wanted to surprise her. And trust me, this broke my heart. That really broke my heart that she didn't get the chance to see, because I was so sure that I'm gonna see her again and I'm gonna be able to give her the art piece. But that wasn't the case. But I know she saw it from wherever she is. She's in heaven for sure. When I went to Switzerland last year, I made one stop in Paris to go to my mom's to pick the art piece, because that was really important. Even if she cannot have it while she was still alive, that was still important for me, for her to get it. So when I arrived in Switzerland, the family was very, of course, welcoming. They were very touched by the fact that I traveled all the way from Switzerland within 2 days to be there for the funerals. And during the ceremony at the church, so they asked me to place my art piece just in front of the coffin. They wanted her to be honored with my art piece. They wanted everybody to be able to see my art piece. That meant a lot to them. And when we went back home, they placed the art piece in the living room at a very visible place, and they were like so honored and touched that I made it just for her. So that gave me like another courage and energy to keep doing my art, because even if she couldn't have it, her family, husband and kids who has it now, they felt the love and energy that I had for her, that remind them that how she loved newborns, how she was so dedicated to her career. So that was like one thing. And plus the fact that I went there, I realized that her from heaven is now one of my spiritual guides. Because guys, I'm not going into details, but I can tell since she's over there, I could feel her presence. I can feel her love, her energy. I can feel how she's guiding me nowadays. I can feel how she's protecting me. I can feel how she prevents me from, small or big dangers from life. So that's a real blessing that she is still here with me. That's a true blessing. And I think that she protects me from wherever she is right now because of this art piece that I made for her. I made it from the bottom of my heart because she is one of my role models. Or I could say she was. I don't even know. But for me, she still remains one of my biggest inspirations in life. So that was one thing. The second, I didn't tell you, but I lost a lot, way too many people from August 2019 to April 2020. And the COVID, I'm telling you, was a catastrophe. It was very devastating. Then in March 1st, I lost my best friend here in New York. I have friends, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of friends, but like, she was my sister, she was my big sister, and she was the person whenever I felt like giving up with New York, whenever I felt that I'm like, okay, I'm done with that city, this is so hard for me, this is tough, this is too much, and I'm just alone in New York trying to do my best to be successful. And when I say successful, I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about inner success, that goes with a lot of things, being healthy, being in peace, being serene, being happy, of course having money, but money is not like the top priority. And every time I wanted to give up, she was always there for me. And she has so much love and respect for me. I think I might be 14 years younger than her, and I am her youngest friend. And it didn't change the love that she has for me, the love and respect, because she has so much love and respect and consideration. Every time she was introducing me to some of her friends, family, she was like introducing me as if I was like the queen of New York or something. She made me feel so special. She made me feel so amazing. Sometimes I was like blushing. I'm like, oh, stop. Because she really put me on an amazing high pedestal. She valued me a lot and I valued her a lot. And one day she did her DNA test and find out that she had like a high percentage of Cameroonian blood. And you might not know, but I'm French, born and raised in Paris, but both of my parents are from Cameroon. So we planned to go to Cameroon together, but it was not gonna happen, unfortunately. But she came in my dreams, maybe like a few weeks or a month after she passed away. And in my dreams, she asked me to ask her kid to get one of her belongings and bring it to Cameroon and bury it over there, because this is where she belongs to. So that's something that I'm gonna do next year for sure. And this woman, she was a creative. She has so much love for art. She has so much love for poetry. She loved poetry. She wasn't into hip-hop, but she was always at some hip-hop events, which was really funny. She's more into 80s hip-hop culture and rap than 90s and all of that. That wasn't really her things, but we went to a lot of events together, and we even went to Puerto Rico together for a hip hop event. So she loved that. She was always pushing me as being the best artist that I could be. She was always amazed with my art, my creativity. For her, I'm just one of the best dancers she's ever seen, and she saw a lot of dancers, and I'm like, I'm good, but I'm not like wow. But she told me something one day. She told me that, yeah, maybe when you are like in dance competitions or something, but she's like, when you're on the dance floor, you're just like the queen of everything. And this always resonated to me. She even asked this artist to do that for me, that little art piece with like dance teacher, and I was having that at my dance studio when I had a dance studio in Brooklyn. And she was like so touched that I had it, and I'm like, I will never throw it away. Like, you ask the artist to do that for me, I will always keep it. That means a lot to me. You mean a lot to me. And when we had the celebration, when we were celebrating her life once she passed away, her boyfriend told me, it was like, she really, really, really valued you. She really loves you. She really believed in you. And you have to make it happen. You have to be the best artist, the best version of yourself as an artist, as a creative, because she has so much faith in you. You are so special to her, but to anybody who knows you. So you have to make it happen. You have to believe in yourself the way she believed in you. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in myself, but I have some fortes and I have like some weaknesses. And when I'm facing some weaknesses like marketing, because it's not something that I like, I'm gonna start focus on it, and then I would just like give up because I'm like, oh my god, I don't like that. I'm not good at that. Not that I'm not good, but I don't like that. So because I don't like that, I'm just not gonna do it, and then I'm not gonna grow the way I'm supposed to grow. But her believing in me, in my art, really pushed me to get out of my comfort zone. And she's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast today, guys, because of people like that I had in my path, that I'm so thankful that the universe, the gods, my other spiritual guides, the positive energies they put in my path to elevate me. And when she passed away, that was so devastating for me, because guys, she was one of my rocks in New York. She was really one of my biggest and strongest rocks. I needed her so bad. And when she passed away, I didn't cry. I couldn't cry because I couldn't break down at this time, because I had many acting and modeling gigs. I needed to stay strong, just to keep moving on, keep working, keep being active, because I knew that as soon as I would start crying, I would just break down and I wouldn't be able to stand up and move on again, because I was weak. I was so weak. So I knew what kind of vulnerability I would face. I just rather to put her death to the side. For approximately 2 weeks or so, I was just like working. I wasn't thinking about her. When I thought about her, I was like disconnecting. Like, it's not the time to think about her. Focus on your art, focus on your modeling, focus on your acting. And I was having a lot of jobs, so that was perfect for me. That's all I needed. That's really all I needed. But then when we had the celebration, after the celebration, I'm like, okay, this is when I'm just gonna let everything go. So I started to be sad. I started to embrace my sadness. And luckily, if I can say it so, that was the beginning of the lockdown. So I had to stay home alone and deal with my pain, with my broken heart, because my heart was so broken. So I was like, I'm sad. But I started this project that I'm going to talk about. It's just like me, with different moods according to the different stages of COVID time. So it's like I started the COVID time with her death, and I was like the first one. You could just see me staring with like my eyes widely open, and kind of unable to think because I needed to empty my brain and to stay focused, but my eyes were like looking at nothing, the emptiness. So that's what you can see on the first art piece. And then with the second one, that's me like being like, really? Am I losing that many people? What the hell? And also what's going on with the world, because the COVID is just like messing up the whole thing with the good and the bad, like, but I'm not that, this is so not the topic, but the COVID is messing up people's lives. People are dying, people are suffering, people are in pain, people are damaged. I was like, really? And plus then, as I said, I lost a lot of people, and the last, it's not the last person that unfortunately I lost this year, but that was like the toughest one. That was the one I couldn't get up from, that because this death, just like thinking about it, guys, like I'm having like my eyes wet. I lost my uncle the last day of March, and the last day, like, to me, I want to keep it as the last day of March, because I'm like, I end up with March. From April 1st, it's gonna be better. So in France, because he was in France, he passed away on April 1st at midnight 50. But in the US, it was still March 31st. So I want to keep March 31st. And my mom was born on April 2nd. And that's my mom's big brother. And my uncle has been living with us for over 30 years. So I've never had a father. And my uncle wasn't my father, but he was the closest father figure that I had. So my father were my mom, my siblings, and my uncle. Ironically, because my uncle wasn't a father for his kids. My uncle didn't take care of his kids, but he was living with us because he had a lot of problems, and he wasn't able to be a good father, and he had like kids from different wives, but it is what it is. And my uncle was like a live spirit. I never looked at him as a human, and I think a lot of people could know my uncle, and even my friend could saw my uncle. My uncle wasn't really friendly or talkative, but you could feel that this man maybe was waiting all his life for death to happen or something, but it was more like, it was really a spirit in a human body. And people who weren't family loved my uncle because he was full of knowledge, wisdom, but in my family it wasn't like people, they weren't his biggest fan, because my uncle was it was like a closed book. He was a very cold-hearted person. He didn't like many people, even like in his own family, but for some reason my uncle loved me a lot, and I think I'm one of the very few persons in this world, in this entire world, that my uncle loved. And my uncle, like, for example, when I was a child, it was always like, getting some snacks for me, and he was like hiding them. We had like a secret spot in the kitchen, because he knew that if he would be leaving the snacks, my siblings, they will just eat them and not thinking about me. So my uncle was always like bringing me some snacks. He was cooking for me. We had like long conversations for hours. And when I was a child, it was like, to me, it was like an amazing spirit. Even when he was telling me negative things, I was just like drinking his words, like just that. And when I grew up, of course I was like, this man is wrong. No, this is not okay. This is okay, but this is not okay. And my uncle helped me a lot being the wise woman that I am today. So he's one of the reasons why I'm wise. Even if that's weird, but even if he has some evil spirit, but he wanted what was good for me. So he was helping me a lot, getting some wisdoms and knowledge. And my uncle was truly my friend. I told you, he was my mom's big brother. And yeah, he was my friend. But when I grew up, he started to show me his evil side. And I remember the first time I was shocked. He did something really bad behind my back and talked bad behind my back, and I was shocked, and I came to confront him. And I told him, like, why did you say that? I thought we were friends. And I think he got like emotional when I said that. Like I have like a lot of examples like that. My uncle never gave even a dollar to anybody in this world. But one day he gave me the equivalent. It was in francs, but back then he gave me like 100 francs or 200 francs. And I told my mom, and my mom was so shocked. She was like, what? This man gives you money? I was like, yeah, obviously. Or my uncle was like, he had like an amazing metabolism, because this man he stopped drinking, but back then he used to drink a lot, smoke a lot of cigarette, drink a lot of coffee, and this man had more than 6 heart attacks. I don't know if you guys can imagine, and his body was always recovering. Just the last one that he had paralyzed the right side of his face, like by 50 or 70%. But other than that, stroke, get up, back to life. Another stroke, get up, back to life. Another stroke, get up, back to life. That was just amazing. And his first strokes, because I told you he had 6, I was always the one who saved him, because I'm very careful and I pay a lot of attention of people's daily routine. So I knew, like, my uncle was very simple and he had the same daily routine every day. Like, he was like very strict with the time. So even if he was like 2 minutes late for doing something he's supposed to do, I always check at him, because I know when people, they have like very strict daily routine, they don't play around. And I had a really good instinct, so I saved him like maybe 2 or 3 times when he had strokes. And my uncle is definitely not somebody who's gonna be thankful or grateful if you do something for him. But with me, he recognized one day, told like my mom and other family members that thank God I was here every time he had a stroke, otherwise he wouldn't be there. And or for example, when I had my apartment, my first apartment in Paris, I was so excited to tell everybody. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have my apartment, I was so happy. But he was the only one, when I told him, I was very uncomfortable, because My uncle was my friend, I told you. So I wasn't ready to tell him that I'm leaving the house, because it's gonna mean that we're not gonna have those long conversations, this proximity. So I was like very hesitant to tell him. And when my siblings left, he didn't care. I was like, yeah, good for you, not his business. But when I left, I said, uncle, because I call him uncle, I said, uncle, I find an apartment, I'm gonna leave. And he was like, why you're not good with us? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, but it's just like it happened and it's just time for me to go. And he was heartbroken. And that's the very first time that I saw my uncle's emotion. Never showed emotion before. And he said, oh, but are you coming back sometimes? I'm like, yeah, of course. And my apartment was like 5 minutes away from my mom's place. So I said, of course I'm coming back. He said, yeah, but even to sleep over? I said, yes, I promise I will come sometimes to sleep over. And yeah, that's the kind of relationship we had. My uncle was doing my laundry because he knows that I hate that. And when I had my apartment, I bought a washing machine. I just left it at my mom's because I'm like, my uncle will be able to keep doing my laundry. So I was just bringing the laundry. I was putting the laundry in the washing machine, but then he was taking it off, drying, folding, putting in a bag, and I was happy. And when I was living with them, he was doing my laundry. I was spoiled, I know. But then my uncle started to show me more and more his evil face. But even if he showed me his evil side, even if I put some distance with him, he was still my uncle. Every time I was going to friends, I was buying him stuff that he was always wearing. I was like, I know he likes this or that type of juice. I was buying juice every day. I was doing things for him. So when he left, when he passed away, that was like the lowest point of my life. And I didn't have anybody to be there for me because, once again, we were in lockdown. I didn't have a boyfriend. I was dating this guy. I'm going to tell you his name because he's an asshole. His name is Caleb. I don't even know how to. Yeah, that's his name, Caleb. Dancer. I'm not into dancers. I don't know what I dated this guy. And when I lost all those people in March, this guy just disappeared, couldn't take it, or he just didn't want somebody with problems. And he left me. He really left me. We weren't like together, but we were dating. And yeah, he left me, but I'm happy. Yeah, I would say I'm happy. It's a blessing that he left me, because maybe if he was there, I wouldn't be the person that I am today, because I was alone. I had to deal with like 10 deaths in only 1 month, plus the loss of my uncle, who was my friend, my father, my everything. As evil as he could be, I loved him and he loved me. So I had to face that alone. I couldn't go to friends to bury him. I couldn't go to friends to take care of the last things about him. And I broke. I totally broke. I cried. I've never cried like that. I could call my mom at 3 a.m. crying. I was on the floor sometimes, like yelling, because my heart was broken. My soul was broken. That was really, really hard. And I decided to do that painting because that was me at this time. So COVID really put me into painting even more, to start a new project that I hope I'm gonna show, I'm gonna display. I hope I'm gonna have a show after I don't even know if it's a lockdown anymore. I don't even know what we're living in right now. But I hope I will be able to show the different phases of myself during the COVID, and my uncle's death was like the lowest point. But when my uncle left, my best friend left, and the other left, but especially my uncle, it's like a part of me left as well. A part of me died, and I had a rebirth. I was like the phoenix. I had a rebirth because I rebirth not stronger. That's not what I'm gonna say. I don't want to use that term, but wiser, with more inner peace. I've been doing a lot of inner work to search for peace. I was really searching for peace. And with the art therapy sessions that I was doing online with people, so healing people with my art therapy sessions was also healing me at the same time. And I questioned a lot of my life, myself, and I went back to a spirituality, That's a spirituality I've never had, but I used to be raised into religion, and I'm not anymore. But I needed to be back to my spirituality, and I'm Black African, so I needed to connect with my African spirituality. I needed to reconnect with my spiritual guides, to identify them, to talk to them, to be with them. I reconnected with my ancestors and many other things, and I did all of that thanks to COVID, if I can say thanks. It's a blessing in disguise, trust me guys. The COVID time, hard as hell, but I learned so much about myself. I feel like my soul upgraded. Like I can feel that I'm on the next level with my soul, and my third eyes was already open, but now I'm like very aware of how my third eye is open. I am connected to whatever's happening out there. As I said, I'm connected to my guides. I'm connected to the positive energy. I'm also connected to the negative because, it's the yin and the yang. It's the balance. I'm connected to my ancestors. I am connected to the light. I am connected to the universe. I am connected to the supreme power. Call it the way you want. And those paintings are the proof of my journey, my COVID journey. It's just another proof of how art is so important to me. I even started to do my own photo shoots. I bought a camera. I do healing dancing for myself. Everything that I put in the Kamga Ngnie Method are the things that I do for myself, and I know it works, and I know it works for people, it works for me. And art, self-love, the fact that I want to be a better person, the fact that I want my soul to be better is really saving me from collapsing, from depression, from heartbreaks, from the loss of my beloved people who are still around, not physically, but they're still there, and I know they guide me, I know they protect me, and I know they love me. So that's all for me. That was a lot. I hope this story resonated to you. I hope it gives you some guidance, some lightning, and I wish you all the best. I just don't know what to say anymore because I could keep talking a lot about my uncle, my friends. So I'm just gonna stop there because I'm that close to cry. So thank you so much for listening. I hope everybody who faced a lot due to COVID, that you could take the lessons, because everything is a blessing or a lesson or both, or a blessing in disguise. And I know that the COVID time was tough and is still tough, but I hope that you elevated yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So I'm wishing you a very good week. It's always a pleasure to see you every time. And take care of yourself, drink some water, eat clean. You can get some, you can have, like how you said, that cheat meal, but it still has to be good for your body. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, email me, DM me, message me, add me on Instagram, Lya Pouleyy. My email, contact@lyapouleyy.com. If you need to follow my program, it's an amazing one. The Kamga Ngnie Method. You can find it on my website, www.lyapouleyy.com. And that's all from me. I see you next week for episode number 7. I'm sending you a lot of love, a lot of blessing, a lot of positive vibes and energy. Take care of yourself. Take care of your beloved one. Don't neglect people that you love. Don't take anybody for granted. You don't know what can happen in life. Sending you a lot of love. Bye.